Hey, I'm Brian Sikansky, and today I want to talk about something really important, which is your qualifications and why it might not be as important as you think it is. And especially when going out there, trying to get new clients and talking to your potential prospects, putting out there for your marketing message, everything on your website, talking about your story. We're going to dig into it a little bit more. So this really comes about, especially with those more experienced coaches where they're really putting more of a focus on all the degrees that they have, years of experience, and really putting that out there first. And then on the flip side, those newer coaches thinking that they don't have enough qualifications to go out there and charge the rates that they really want to. So that imposter syndrome and really thinking that I don't have enough experience, I don't have enough degrees to really go out there and charge a specific amount, whether it's 5 figures or above, or something else. So it kind of cuts both ways. So whether you're an experienced coach and you have all these qualifications and that's what you're leading with your audience, or you're a little bit more new and thinking that you don't have enough, either way, what I'm going to talk about today is that qualifications really don't matter as much to your audience. So especially with the prospects that you're working in, those longer term clients, what you'll find is what your audience really wants to know about you is kind of your story. What are your values? A little bit more about you, especially when we get into the personal development space where somebody's hiring you for 6 months or more. They're going to spend 20 or more hours with you over that time period. They want to know that they're kind of sitting down with somebody that kind of relates to them, that their values match up, that it's somebody that they really enjoy working with. And I think that this kind of came through a few years ago for me, just a personal story. And I was looking for a therapist that I wanted to go to and needed some help on a few things. And I looked within my New York City region, and all I could really find, especially on Psychology Today and some of the other websites, were a bunch of bios for therapists that were all focused on kind of their qualifications, all those abbreviations after their name, how many degrees they had. But really what I couldn't find is more about kind of the person behind that. So who were these people? Are they people that kind of matched up that I kind of want to be spending an hour of my time with every single week? I didn't want to go in and kind of try out various different therapists and find out that it wasn't a good match. So what I really didn't find from their online presence was a little bit more about what their philosophy was, what their process was. I knew for a lot of people that it was a little bit more personalized, but I needed to know a little bit more about the person before I went in and put some money down or even spent that first hour with them. And I think that's what a lot of coaches kind of miss is you have to kind of put out your story a little bit more. You have to show some of that vulnerability. Maybe it's, the things that you struggled with and it kind of matches up with your prospect, or just kind of sharing a little bit more. Let them into your world a little bit so they can kind of connect with you and you can kind of attract those people that you most want to work with. If you don't do that, you're really going to struggle. So one of the key examples that I can give you is, in politics. So think about the presidents and the candidates that we've had out there really going back in history. So the most qualified person, it doesn't really turn out to be the president. It tends to be those people that can really tell their story, put their values out there, and really connect with voters in that way. So, they might not be the smartest person. They might not be the best educated. They might not have all the degrees. They might not be that exact person that's right for that presidential role. But again, that person tends not to get to the job because they haven't spent enough time really opening up to their audience, kind of connecting with them and relating to them by using their personal experience, by talking about the things that they're looking to do and giving them a vision of how they can help them as well. So, think about all those things as you go out there and put less emphasis on the amount of degrees that you have, the years of experience. Testimonials are great to show that transformation along the way, but you have to kind of share a little bit more about your story. Let people into your world and don't wait for them to have to get on a call with you or that first initial meeting because, people aren't going to be motivated to get to that point if they haven't, gotten some type of introduction about you within your online presence to do it out there. So look at your About Me section right now and look at it. Is it more of a bio that kind of lists out all your qualifications and doesn't show a little bit more about you, or are you doing a lot of the great things where you're kind of thinking about it as kind of like a more impersonal introduction where you're sharing a little bit more about yourself, what are you about? What are your values? And how you can help people along the way, and who are those type of people that you want to help. So for more information on how you can do this a little bit better and kind of telling your story, feel free to check out my website. I've done a couple webinars over the last few weeks that kind of cover this topic as well. So mindsetcopy.com /webinars will give you the replays that I've done in the last few weeks. Be a great resource to kind of think about your story, kind of sit down and kind of map it out a little bit more about how can I show the rest of the world what I'm about, kind of let them into my world and kind of attract